it.
Hello, this is Yolanda Murphy, and welcome to this Exceptional Journey podcast, where you will find inspiration to live courageously through adversity, empowerment to live freely despite your past, and ignition to live boldly in your purpose, all by walking the survivor side of life. Good people. What is up? It is Yolanda Murphy back with another episode, finally, of this Exceptional Journey podcast, where I hope to inspire, empower, and ignite you to live your best life. First, let me go ahead and welcome you all back. It's been a little bit of time. I know. I'm sorry. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Welcome to my, little corner of the podcast world. And thanks for clicking on over to spend some time with me for a little bit. And if this is not your first time, I'm sorry. I know. Literally, I've had so many, people come up or inbox me or, just put on a post like, where's the next podcast episode? I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, life. I hashtag life. I'm sorry. But thank you. If this is not your first time, for coming on back and listening for a little bit. But before we get into the podcast, I did want to plug an amazing app that I've had the privilege of using over the last couple months. And it's called Abridge, ABRIDGE, like the short version, an abridged version. It's called Abridge. I wanted to let you know about this app for a few reasons. First of all, it's been really helpful for me. Basically, it helps you to record your healthcare conversations, like when you're in with your doctor, psychiatrist, psychologist, physical therapy, for me, oncologist. So it basically helps you to record your healthcare conversations so that you can take your doctor's advice, your doctor's recommendations home with you. I don't know about anyone else, but when I was going through what I went through with breast cancer, there were a lot of appointments where I would hear what they said, but I wouldn't know what they said. So this app would have been amazing a couple years ago for me. But even now, when I go to my doctor's appointments and when I go to my doctor's visits, it's great to be able to record, of course, with their permission, what they say, so I can come home and digest it and look up and Google or, research anything that I need to. Which brings me to the point. The app actually pulls out relevant, I always say that word wrong, medically relevant concepts from the appointments. So it's really easy. It literally, again, I have Googled everything. I'm just a researcher. I'm sorry. But, once you come from the appointment, you can go back into the app. It'll give you medically relevant terms and words, and you'll be able to research them later. But literally, this app is point, click, look up. It's not very complicated at all, which I absolutely love about it. It's easy to go back and re-listen. And even one of the things that I love about it is you can share it with other people. So if someone that wants to come to a doctor's appointment with me can't, I can say, it's fine. It's okay. I'll record the appointment and then I'll send it to you. This person can have questions, comments, concerns, and we can go from there. But they'll at least be able to hear exactly, what happened in the appointment. So, guys, I say all of that to say, try the Abridged app. Let me know what you think. I know for me, again, I can only speak for me. They've helped me so much in my journey, in my process after breast cancer. But you can really use this for anything. I mean, if you've been diagnosed or have regular doctor's appointments, you can really use this not just for, breast cancer, but for any diagnosis that you've had, when you're going to your doctor, you want to know what they have to say. Use this app. Again, it's called Abridge, Abridge. I will give a full disclosure. I am on their patient advisory council. So I'm a little biased, but still, if you've been listening to my podcast and you know me at all, you know I'm not going to back something that I really don't believe in. I've tried it out for myself. I've spread it to family members and they love it as well. So if you have any questions about it, definitely let me know. But again, it's called Abridge. If you want to download it, it's available on Apple and Android. Abridge.com, abridge.com. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I am so grateful that we are here today, guys. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. First, let me say happy International Podcast Day, because the day that this podcast is going live, it is International, Podcast Day. I didn't even know that this day actually existed. Until I started podcasting and like getting into the scene a little bit. I was like, oh, I mean, there's a day for everything at this point, right? But happy International Podcast Day. What that means for me is that there are other people out there who are recording, editing, posting, doing social media all on their own, just so that there are people that have a voice in this world. That's my whole plight. And to be honest, in October will be my 1 year anniversary. I cannot believe it's been a year already. 1 year anniversary from starting the podcast. And, I've kind of been going back and listening to old podcasts and old episodes. And it just blows my mind where I've come from and what I've been speaking about. And not necessarily, that anything was bad or, anything like that. But it's been a year. That's 365 days that I've been doing this. Well, not really doing it every day, but you understand what I'm saying. But it's been a journey. And just to be able to look back even on my own personal life and see where I've come, what I've done, what I've been through is astounding. So, again, happy International Podcast Day. Hashtag that. I wholly believe not just in podcast, and I also have a blog as well, thisexceptionaljourney.com. Check it out when you get a chance, because I do actually write posts on there that I don't make podcasts of. So check that out when you get a chance. But I'm just saying, I think it's absolutely amazing to celebrate something like a podcast where you get a voice. If you've listened to previous podcasts, I've had other survivors on, I've had co-survivors on. And moving forward into October, I plan to create a whole African American breast cancer space on the podcast where voices just need to be heard. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be a year in. I'm looking forward to another year and another year and another year, God willing, that I'm able to create this space and this platform where people feel so free to be able to share their story, their testimony, their journey about what they face. And, a couple years from now, you never know. I might be talking about something other than breast cancer. You never know. But anyway, guys, as you can tell from the title, I wanted to catch up. And if you're like me and you're kind of corny and nerdy, I was like, what can I name this title? And I was like, another catch up. I'm sorry. That's just so funny to me. I'm a nerd. I'm sorry. So many things, and nerd is probably one of them. But that was just still, even now when I think about it, it's just so funny to me. Anyway, and I didn't want it just to be, oh, catch up number 2.0. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but so much has been going on. Like literally, I want to say the last episode that I posted was either the end of July, beginning of August. And it's now literally the last day of September. guys, so much has been going on. So I'm gonna ask the important question. What's new? What's different? What's the same? Let's just start from there. So let's start with what's the same. What's the same? I still live in the same place. I'm still in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm still cancer free. Hallelujah. um, but that's about it. Like literally, my life over the last couple months has been amazing, but so much has gone on. So if I had to be honest, that's probably the gist of what's the same. Of course, I'm still going to church and I'm in ministry and all of those wonderful things. I'm still there. But let's talk about what's different or kind of what's new. Yeah. Well, yeah, we can put them together. So the biggest thing is I have a new job now. Like literally my career. I hate to even call it a job because it's really a career at this point. Guys, listen, I have heard so many horror stories or seen so many horror stories from people who have gone through a diagnosis or gone through a trauma and they were working at a specific location and after the diagnosis or trauma or anything that they had to go through afterwards, their job was not very understanding, you know what I mean? Or they couldn't get the time off, or they actually got terminated. That was not my plight, thank God. Um, so the job that I had before diagnosis is the job that I had after diagnosis and even years later. However, as of like not this past week, but the week before, so I'm 2 weeks into a new job, a new career, a new path. So I am now working for, before I was working for, there is and I don't know if any of you have ever heard of UPMC, which is the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. I was working for the insurance division of them, but now I'm actually working for straight out the University of Pittsburgh in the research department. Well, not necessarily the research department. It's this whole convoluted thing, but basically, I am and will be a minority research recruiter and navigator. Guys, I've been doing it for the last 2 weeks. Life, there's just so much that's been going on besides even the new job. But the new job has been amazing. Like, even within the last 2 weeks, I've had orientation. I've gone out of town. We've done an all day conference, which one of my mentors and bosses spoke at. It has been amazing. So, this whole research navigator role, specifically for minorities with breast cancer, kind of like fell in my lap, and I'm not going to tell the whole story. But a chance encounter with an amazing woman in this city named Dr. Peg. I'll just leave it at that. She came and spoke. I was at the event. We spoke afterwards. She was like, "Give me your card." I gave her mine. She gave me hers. We both lost each other's card, if I'm honest. Um, Months later, she was reaching out to the place where we met to get my contact information through two other people. Like, I need to find Yolanda. I have a job. I have some stuff going on in my department. I want her to be a part. What? This was like months later. To be honest, wasn't even thinking about it. Yeah, so to say all of that, I am now a minority research navigator and recruiter for the University of Pittsburgh. And the transition, even before I actually started the position, um, because my last job, I mean, it wasn't like labor intensive or anything, but I had to document certain things and I had to get things, you guys know, you had to get certain things prepared for the next person coming in, and I'm not going to say it was a lot, but it was a lot. So like a couple weeks, even almost a month before I was to start my new job, there was a lot going on. So the whole month of August, if I'm honest, I was preparing to transition. Because I knew it was coming. They just hadn't given me a start date yet. I still hadn't, like, filled out the proper paperwork, all of that stuff. Um, but then let's enter other things that are going on, as if that's not enough. So, University of Pittsburgh, I'm so uber excited about that allows me to, be a part of the space of people I've already been trying to give a voice to, which is breast cancer and then also the African American breast cancer community. So some great things going on, some great things going on there. I was, and if you've listened to previous podcasts, I was actually able to connect to and reach out to two phenomenal ladies. And guys, I hope you don't mind, I give your name here, to Jasmine and Marissa, who are a part of the For the Breast of Us movement that is going on online right now. They have an amazing blog where basically they're giving a voice, much like myself, to the African American young adult breast cancer community, or maybe it's just any woman of color. Let me rephrase that. I think it's any woman of color breast cancer community, and they're doing amazing things, giving a voice to people who on other platforms or with other nonprofits wouldn't have been able to do. So I'm absolutely thrilled that I had the chance to have a conversation with them, and there will be some collaboration here in the future. I told Jasmine and Marissa I'm definitely going to have both of you on the podcast. Can't wait for that. You guys might see some of my writings on their blog, so we'll see. That's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. But this is a space that is so necessary for the rest of us, right? It just totally makes sense that we're not a specific demographic that most people think of when you get breast cancer. We're young, we're African American, or we're Latino, or we're Mexican. We're not Caucasian, and we need a voice. So thank you, ladies. I'll be in touch soon. But literally, guys, the first 9 months of the year have been astounding to me. If you've listened to previous podcasts, I've told you about some of the stuff that's going on in my life, between being asked to be on certain boards and being a part of certain nonprofits, not because I'm all great and wonderful, don't get me wrong, but it's because I want to give a voice to people who feel like they don't have a voice. When I was going through my diagnosis and facing everything that I felt like there was no one that looked like me, and I felt like there was no one that was my age. Double whammy. So I was like, okay, let me create this exceptional journey blog and podcast so that people have a space, so that people feel like they're not the only ones that are out there. So guys, first 9 months were amazing. First 9 months were amazing. Here we are in September, end of September, and I have so many other things. I have so many other things. So for this last quarter alone, of course, October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I have so many events that I'm going to be attending, that I'm going to fill you guys in on. I have, of course, already the regular businesses or nonprofits that I'm connected to, that I'm looking to tell you guys about, like, of course, YSC, which is Young Survival Coalition, LBBC, Living Beyond Breast Cancer, and BBC, which is National Breast Cancer Coalition, PBCC, which is PA Breast Cancer Coalition, LL, I call them LL, but Lacuna Loft, which is completely designated for young adult cancer patients. Who else can I think? I mean, there's so many organizations here in the city, but I'm trying to think of, organizations you guys could look up nationally online: ysc.com, lbbc.com, pbcc.com, abridge.com, just any resources you guys can have, lacunaloft.com. And then, of course, as you already know, I'm a part of my young adult cancer support group here in the city of Pittsburgh, which is the cancercaringcenter.com. So tons of resources for you guys as always. I've been going to a couple conferences. I've been in some spaces where I can get new resources. So I have those for you as well, which I'm going to roll out. I'm building up my own personal website, yolandamurphy.com. because I actually, drum roll please, I'll be speaking at a conference in January. Um, well, I'll be speaking also at an event in this October, just telling my testimony behind my podcast and, my breast cancer journey. It's actually a fashion show that's geared towards education for breast cancer awareness, mental health, and some other things. And I, was asked if I would share, my information for the podcast and all of that. And I was like, absolutely, let's do it. Let's go. But I'll also be speaking in January for for lack of a better phrase, a woman's empowerment conference here in the city of Pittsburgh called She Thrives. And I do believe their website is also shethrives.com. Amazing, amazing organization that's all about giving the female voice power. No matter what background you have, no matter what you've gone through, no matter what you faced, giving women the power to say, I'm here and make a difference. So that'll be in January, I think within the first week or so of January. So guys, I've been taking meetings, signing contracts, which sounds weird to me because this was definitely not in the chips. If you would have asked me before diagnosis, would any of this be going on? I would say absolutely not. But as God would have it, here I am. And I'm trying to work it. I'm trying to work the space. I'm trying to make sure as young adults or as African American breast cancer patients, we have a voice. Here we are. Here we are. So that's kind of what's different. That's kind of what's new. What else? I talked about a bridge. I talked about my new job. Talked about for the breast of us. So I am still connected with the Glock Foundation, and we actually do have a really great startup organization. Event. So I bring up the Glock Foundation because a couple episodes ago I talked about newly being connected. So the Glock Foundation was started as a nonprofit by a woman with the last name of Glock, who was also diagnosed with breast cancer. She was going through clinical trials, which saved her life, and she wanted to start an African American initiative for women facing breast cancer because she had someone who was near and dear to her heart that was a part of the organization that was African American that unfortunately passed away from stage 4. And she reached out to me and was like, I want to start this initiative. I was like, wonderful. I'll help you in any way possible. So the launch for that, or at least the first event for that, is at the end of October. So stuff, guys, stuff, stuff going on besides regular life. I'm grateful though. If you can't tell, I'm smiling. Like I've been smiling. I'm just grateful to be in a space, first of all, to be alive and healthy, and to be able to say I'm still cancer free, is astounding. And I'm all the way behind, my stage 4 sisters that are still fighting, just FYI, because they're living life and I look up to them each and every day. But I'm grateful. I am grateful for life. I am grateful to be able to do these things and be a part of these organizations and sit on these boards and have a voice in a space where I felt like we didn't have a voice before, right? So I just wanted to come on and give you another catch up and say I'm still here. I really, really am, guys. I promise. The month of October is about to be bananas. I have some great content coming for you guys. Then I'm still going to do my, regular young adult cancer survivor interviews. I'm still going to do my co-survivor interviews, and I'm even thinking to throw in the mix a couple group podcasts. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm feeling really creative. I'm feeling really creative. I want to get as many voices out here as possible. But I will say, because of this new job and because of how entailed it is, it might not be every Tuesday. So my goal before was to be every Wednesday, and that clearly did not happen. So I'm sorry about that. But at least once a week, I'm going to put something out, and I want you guys to listen. October is my month. You know, it's all about breast cancer awareness, but I'm also about breast cancer research. So you'll see maybe some merch. Maybe 2 episodes ago, I talked about some merch. You may see some merch coming out. So how about you support? How about you just support and buy the merchandise, okay? But seriously, guys, I'm uber excited for the month of October. I'm grateful for everything that has happened up until this point. Um, I'm just ready. You already know. I'm just always full steam ahead, ready to get stuff done. Please hit me up on any of my social media. I think I'm on Instagram and Facebook at This Exceptional Journey. Twitter, it's at TEJ Podcast. Let me know if you have questions, comments, suggestions. I definitely would want to know. Even use hashtag TEJ Podcast. Um, I'm out here for the people. Okay. But seriously, like I'm learning more and more, especially with this new position. Um, it's not about me. I mean, I've gone through it. I've faced it. Yes, every day. I face the aftermath or the side effects or things that come along with it mentally, physically, and emotionally. But it's not about me now. It never was really. Like and if you've listened to previous podcasts, I've said after I finished active treatment, I was all about how can I help others. This is my season to help others. So I'm so grateful for you guys listening. And if you are still listening, I'm grateful. um, Big things, guys. Big things coming, collaborations, connections. Look out. Definitely look out for This Exceptional Journey podcast, blog, and YouTube to just be in the spaces where we are so that we can have a voice. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to getting settled in my new position. And even it'll be a little lifestyle change because I went from working from home after diagnosis and chemo and all of that to now being in the office 5 days a week. So it's been a little adjustment. I will say my body's getting used to it. But guys, it's only up from here. It's only up from here. So if you're still listening, thank you so much for rocking with your girl and sticking around and listening. So as always, you can catch me walking the survivor side of life, and I will see and check you